Something has happened in my life that changed my life completely. This one event has put me in appreciation of each and every day. This one event has helped me to appreciate my family and to truly be with them. And this one event is a horseback riding accident that knocked me unconscious, resulted in an acquired brain injury, and a diagnosis of completely disabled. So let me tell you the rest of that story. I'm standing at my kitchen sink with my cup of coffee in the morning, and I'm looking out at the barn, and it's a bright and sunny day, and I see cars coming in and out of our laneway. And little girls are getting out, and they're dancing around, and I can hear them all the way to the house squealing about the day. And so I take the last few sips of my coffee, and I head on down to meet them. And when I get there, they're saying to me, "Sharon, can we saddle up the horses? Sharon, can we go out and brush the horses? Sharon, can we put up our craft? Sharon, can we put the chairs out?" It's Friday, the final week, the last day of the week, in which they're going to do a show for their parents. And so with great enthusiasm, I say, yes, let's get going. Chaos, mayhem, and confusion were my best friends. So when the show came, there were about 50 people that were watching, and I got on my horse, Malachi, to show them something. As I got on the horse and I started down to the other end, when I turned the horse back through the barrel, my cowboy hat blew off. So I made two mistakes right off. The first one was the cowboy hat, right? I should have been wearing a helmet. First time in 7 years not to wear a helmet on that particular incident. The second thing is that I played to my ego. I played to the crowd rather than calming the horse and trying to get Malachi to calm down. Well, when he got to the end, he went right and I went off left. And when I fell back, I hit my head. I guess I almost came to standing up again, and then I hit my head again and knocked myself completely out. This is not embarrassing at all. To be the leader with 50 people watching and now being rushed to the hospital by ambulance. When I got there, I was all checked over, and then I was unceremoniously discharged. I was told that I had a minor concussion, and that my husband Doug there, who's eating away, that my husband was to wake me up in the evening to make sure that I was okay. Well, I barely remember what happened that weekend, except Monday morning, I went back to working at the camps like a good farm girl would do. And that week went fairly quickly, except that when I got down to the barn to see the little girls like I had on the previous day, everything was different. As I got out there, the sound of the little girls dancing around me and the high, shrill voices were like nails on a chalkboard. The lights were so bright, and the sunshine and the sound in the building was echoing. I had a headache, and I was dizzy and felt like I just wanted to escape. But I did the full week with the kids, and we even did the show at the end of the week when the parents were there. Over the weekend, as everyone that might be an entrepreneur knows, I did payroll and bookkeeping and all those things over the weekend. And then Monday morning, I picked up the phone to call my assistant, Jacqueline, and I said, Unfortunately, I had lost the ability to speak. I knew what I wanted to say, but I couldn't say what I wanted to. And so once again, I was rushed off to the hospital, checked over, and I was told that I had minute bruising to the left side of the brain. When I got home and I did rest, I ended up having speech therapy. And the speech therapist, after about 8 weeks, said to me, "Sharon, did you have an accent before your accident?" Righto. I said, "No." And she says, "What do you do now?" So the Scottish brogue that you hear, I'm one of 60 people in the world that has had a traumatic brain injury and ended up with a foreign accent. Honest and true, folks. I wouldn't lie about this, eh? Yes. Here's something a wee bit funnier. It's funnier that I say the wee bit too, right? But my daughter Megan here, she went over to England to school. And my husband and I decided to go up through Scotland. So as we headed up, we got to Inverness. And I called for a bed and breakfast. And I said to the lady, "Can you tell me how to get there?" And she said, "Well, surely, darling, you know. Your accent tells me you're from Inverness." Hey, it was a good thing to know where I was from. Nevertheless, this has been a real challenge. The accent itself isn't the biggest problem. The challenges have been the side effects from the concussion itself. So the lights are still really bright to me. The sounds, when the music was on earlier, it was very, very loud and amplified. Being in a crowd of people, usually I'm like Jesse James. I like my back to the wall so I don't have anyone behind. And I still am tired. I get so tired. And of course, society, they're not so grand on that, right? You got to get going and get doing. And I still have at times the dizziness and headaches. My executive functioning, the area of the brain that was affected, is for problem-solving, decision-making, and multitasking. And I was finding this quite difficult because I was a AAA personality, not just type A. And my husband said to me, I don't get what's wrong. I don't understand what you think's wrong. And I went, oh my God, I've got a man brain. All right. I'm so sorry. There was no insult intended there. I'll tell you, you've got grand focus, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. The challenges made me retreat to my dark room, where it was quiet, and it was dark, and I didn't have to be out with anyone else. The only other place that I liked to go was to the barn, to my horses. You see, they didn't judge, they didn't criticize, they didn't condemn, they didn't compare me to anyone. They didn't say, Sharon, isn't it about time you got back to work? Are we making enough money to feed us? No, they were welcoming and authentic when I went to see them. So one day when I went down to the barn, Malachi was at the gate, and that was the horse that I had my accident with. And so I got under the gate and stood beside him. And previously, I would have just patted him on the neck and taken off because I was so busy. Being a public health nurse and running a fitness club and doing a lot of different things at that time. But I didn't have those things to go to because of the accident. So under the gate I went and stood with Malachi. And he put his head here on my shoulder. And then he slowly and gently lifted it over top of my head. And then he put it on this shoulder. Now, this isn't what horses usually do. And then he pressed his neck to my ear, and I could hear his heartbeat. It was strong, and it was loud, and was so powerful that everything else fell away. The depression, the anxiety, the feelings of overwhelm that I felt, and having to retreat to that bedroom were all gone in that moment. And I knew that if I had not fallen, I would have missed the very rhythm of life. And what is the rhythm of life? To me, it's being present. Present to the people that you're with, where you are, what you're doing. You see, I'd spent a lot of my life prior to my accident being in one place with my body, but my mind being 6,000 other places, right? I'd be with my kids, but I'd be thinking about being at work. I'd be at work, and then I'd be thinking about my kids. I'd be on the phone with somebody and, okay, who does this? I'm sure, because I've heard others while I've been on the phone, start typing on the computer, right? It's the distractions and being unfocused. But what Malachi has taught me, that the rhythm of life is being present to the people that you're with. You see, there's nothing like a 1,500-pound animal to teach you about being present. One of our horses, Megan's horse, actually, Midnight, is fairly gregarious. So I was out to see him one evening, and as I was talking to him, my phone rang. And I got this nudge on my back, forward. And then he hit me again. And it was like, and then he took me right out of the paddock. It was like he was saying to me, be present, be here, be focused on me. My horse's name is Malachi, as I shared. And that means messenger of God. And he had a huge wake-up call for me. Wake up and be present. Be here, fully present. And the one thing that I do every day, numerous times during the day actually, is to take an intentional pause. To stop in my day, to be aware of where I am and the people I'm with and what I'm doing. To pause and then take a breath. We rarely do that. I call that putting the APB out on myself. Awareness and pausing and breathing. I want to thank you so much this evening for sharing with me your greatest asset, your attention. Thank you very much.